Two children get off of the school bus exactly the same time, walk together up the driveway. One reports seeing Teresa Halbach's vehicle parked at Stephen's house. The other child reports not seeing the vehicle. Is that the only difference? Oh no. The one that reported that he saw the vehicle is still serving a lifetime of prison. Welcome to your blackout. So your screen is black for a reason. I ask that you all do your own research. That way, nobody's swaying your perception. All right, you guys, let's talk about Blaine Dassey. On October 31st, 2005, both Brendan Dassey, age 16, and his older brother, 17, Blaine Dassey, got off the school bus together. They walk up the driveway, and then they both report entering their home. Blaine Dassey reports that he woke his older brother up, Bobby Dassey, who is 19 at the time. 2 days after, the blue RAV4 is reported to have been found by Pam Sturham on the Avery salvage yard. Blaine Dassey gives his report on November 7, 2005. You can reference Trial Exhibit 355 Blaine Dassey interview. The interview is conducted by Deborah K. Strauss, Appleton Public Integrity, Wisconsin DOJ Division of Criminal Investigations. And interesting enough, what are the chances that she's also the one that called the dispatch and volunteered her services to do anything she can to help Stephen Avery get behind bars? And the report states, on Monday, November 7, 2005, at approximately 10:11 a.m., S.A. Deb K. Strauss and S.A. Lisa Wilson interviewed Blaine A. Dassey, date of birth 12/03/1988. The report goes on to say Dassey is currently in 11th grade at the Mishcot High School. Dassey lives with his mother, Barbara Dassey, a.k.a. Barbara Yonda, 12930A, Avery Road, Two Rivers, Wisconsin. This interview was conducted at the residence of Michael J. Cornley, date of birth 10/27/1949, located at 104 Lilac Avenue, Francis Creek, Wisconsin 920-684-7309. Dassey has been staying with Cornley since Friday, 11/04/2005. The purpose of this interview was to obtain information Dassey would have regarding his activities during the week of 10/31/2005. For the purpose of this interview, the Averys and Dasseys will be referred to by their first names. Blaine said on Monday, October 31st, 2005, he got out of bed at 6:30 a.m. like he normally does. The bus picks him up and his brother, Brendan Dassey, up at the end of the gravel driveway sometime between 7:08 a.m. and 7:13 a.m. Blaine was asked if he was one of the first to be picked up by the bus driver or the last, and Blaine responded he was somewhere in the middle. Blaine was asked if he knew the name of his bus driver, and he said he did not. Blaine described his bus driver as a young, nice female. Blaine thought he rode on bus number 3, but he wasn't sure. Blaine's school day starts at 8:00 a.m. and concluded at 3:05 p.m. Blaine described this day as a normal school day with nothing out of the ordinary occurring. Blaine stated that when school was over, he and Brendan rode the bus home and they were dropped off sometime between 3:30 and 4:00 p.m. Blaine said he and Brendan were dropped off at the same spot where they are picked up. Blaine asked to describe where the bus drops him off and picks him up, and Blaine responded it was where the red-black Blazer is currently located. Calmly stated that on some occasions when Blaine arrived home from school, Blaine will call him. Blaine normally calls calmly sometimes between 3:40 and 3:50 p.m. Blaine was asked if he recalled seeing anyone on the Avery property when he got off the bus on the afternoon of Monday, October 31st, 2005. Blaine responded, "Not really." When asked what he meant by "not really," Blaine said he did not see anybody. Let's stop right there. Full stop. Blaine is with Brendan Dassey. He's older. He's talking to Brendan. They're walking the same path, and yet Blaine states he sees no one there, no vehicle there. The report goes on to say, on October 31st, 2005, the red-black Blazer and the Monte Carlo were for sale at the end of the driveway. Blaine said he can recall those vehicles being there. Blaine indicated when he got off the bus, he and Brendan walked directly to their house. Blaine said he did not talk to anyone except for Brendan. He said he did not see anyone. He does not recall seeing a vehicle that does not normally belong in the driveway, and he said he did not see Stephen Avery. When Blaine and Brendan walked into their house, Bobby Dassey was sleeping in his bedroom. Blaine explained that he and Brendan coming home woke Bobby up. Get used to a lot of stop right there's, because that contradicts the entire state's case spoon-fed to the jury. How would Bobby Dassey be watching out the window Teresa Halbach take pictures of the van and then walking to Stephen's trailer if he was woken up by his brothers coming home from the school bus? Already we can see why the state didn't leave Blaine up on that trial stand very long, because it would take away Bobby being able to put Stephen and Teresa together, and Teresa walking towards Stephen's home. Not only that, but remember, Blaine didn't see Teresa Halbach's vehicle either. Let's continue. At approximately 5 o'clock that evening, Blaine received a telephone call from his friend, Jason Cresco. Cresco lives in Two Rivers and can be. Cresco was calling Blaine to see if Blaine would like to go with Cresco and chaperone Cresco's two brothers while they went trick-or-treating in Two Rivers. Blaine said he received this call from Cresco. Bobby, Brendan, Blaine, Brian Dassey, and Barb were all home. Blaine said he knows his mom was home when he received this telephone call because he had asked her permission to go trick-or-treating. Blaine was asked if anything happened between 3:30 and 5 o'clock that afternoon. Blaine said it did not. Blaine was asked if he saw Steve during that time period, and Blaine again said he did not. Blaine responded Steve was usually in the yard around this time period. Blaine was asked if he recalled Steve coming to the house and asked for assistance in moving a Suzuki or a snowmobile in the garage. Blaine said he did not. Blaine said if Steve would have made such a request, Blaine would have remembered it. Blaine was asked if he could describe where the gray Suzuki was normally kept. Blaine responded that for the last week or two, this Suzuki was parked on the side of Stephen's garage, closest to Blaine's house. Blaine said he thought Stephen's plan was to fix the Suzuki so Blaine's grandpa, Alan Avery, could take it up to the cabin in Crivets. Blaine was asked where the Suzuki was currently located, and Blaine said he thought it was still parked next to Stephen's garage. At approximately 5:20 p.m. on October 31st, 2005, Blaine was picked up by Jason's mom, Carmen Winnick. Winnick picked Blaine up in a purplish-colored minivan. After Winnick picked up Blaine, Blaine went to Jason's house for supper, and then they went trick-or-treating. Blaine estimated he returned from trick-or-treating at approximately 9:30 that evening. Let's do a recap. Blaine gets picked up at 5:20 by Jason's mom for trick-or-treating. Otherwise, we have Brendan, we have Blaine, we have Bobby, we have Brian, and Barb all in that home. Everybody's accounted for. Now, when Blaine gets home at approximately 9:30, he's got to walk into his house, and I guarantee you, it's dark. He should have been able to see the fire, right? I mean, for God's sake, Stephen's burning a whole body over there in the burn pit. Or, if nothing else, he's got to be burning stuff in that burn barrel, right? Let's get back to the read. Cornley stated at approximately 5:30 or 5:45 that evening, Cornley called the Dassey residence and spoke to Brendan. Brendan advised Cornley that Blaine had gone trick-or-treating. When Blaine returned from trick-or-treating, he did not see anyone outside. Blaine stated when he got home, Brendan, Barb, and Bobby were inside, and everyone was still awake. Shortly after Blaine got home, sometime between 9:30 and 10, Blaine said he went to bed. Blaine was asked if he recalled anything unusual happening after he went to bed that evening, and Blaine said he did not. Blaine was asked if he could recall anyone using the burn barrels that day. Blaine said he did not. Blaine explained there were 4 burning barrels behind his house that the Dassey family uses. Blaine said these burning barrels are not used by Stephen, Grandma, or Grandpa, or Chuck. Blaine drew a picture of the area around his house and Steve's house, and Blaine indicated where Stephen's burn barrel was located. When Blaine was asked what the burn barrels are used for, Blaine responded they are used for burning garbage. Blaine estimated that they burn trash when the barrels become full, averaging about one burn every 2 weeks. Blaine thought that the last time he burned anything in the burn barrels was sometime last week, possibly Thursday, 11/03/2005. So let's do a hard stop there. So first of all, Blaine is telling us that his family has 4 burn barrels. Stephen's got 1. That's 5. So where did that extra 6 burn barrel come from? Just more validation that it most likely came from deer camp. Blaine is also quite clear there were no fires on that night while he was around. That only leaves 4 hours from 5:30 till 9:30 to burn an entire human body and put the fire out. Blaine was asked what he knew about Stephen's snowmobile. Blaine responded Steve brought this snowmobile back from his grandpa's cabin about 1 week ago. Blaine was with Steve when Steve did this. According to Blaine, the snowmobile was put on the trailer and brought back home. Blaine did not help Steve unload this trailer because the snowmobile had been left on the trailer. As of the week of 10/31/2005, Blaine thought the snowmobile was still on the trailer. Blaine was asked to describe the trailer that was used to haul the snowmobile. Blaine described the trailer as approximately 14-foot long black metal with a drop ramp and approximately 2-foot sides. Blaine said this trailer is capable of hauling 2 snowmobiles. This trailer is actually Barb's trailer and usually sits on the left side of Barb's garage. Blaine was asked to list all the vehicles owned by Bobby, Brian, and Barb. Blaine said that Bobby drives a black Chevy Blazer as a primary, a dark blue Caprice Classic, and a red Eagle Talon non-operable. Brian owns a gray Monte Carlo, white Oldsmobile, and a custom-painted Eagle Talon with a spoiler primary. Barb drives a silver Suburban primary, a black Lincoln Continental, a green Lincoln Continental, a tan Sunburn, and a van. When Blaine was describing this van, Blaine said that this was the van that, quote, she came to take a picture of. Blaine was asked if this van was drivable, and he responded it was, but the temperature gauge does not work. Steve drives a black Ford truck, possibly an F-250, which he uses for hauling and towing. Steve also drives a blue-green Pontiac Grand Am primary. Blaine was asked if he ever works in the salvage yard, and Blaine responded he would sometimes help his grandpa with salvage business, but he would work in the buildings, not in the pit. Blaine was asked if he hunts, and Blaine responded affirmatively. Blaine said even though he hunts, he does not own a gun, and he uses his mom's .30-06. Blaine was asked where the family goes to sight in their guns, and Blaine responded they always went to their grandpa's cabin. That is because there is a gun range there. Blaine said on occasions he has seen his grandpa sight the gun in at the range in Crivets. Blaine was asked if anyone hunts rabbits around the salvage yard. Blaine responded they usually trap the rabbits in metal cages. When Blaine was asked what they do with the rabbits after they catch them, Blaine responded they eat them. Blaine stated that he does not know anyone who hunts on the salvage yard property. Blaine was asked if he would know if anyone hunted on the property, and Blaine said he would. We're only halfway through this report already. Blaine has established through his experience that Teresa Halbach's vehicle wasn't there, that Bobby was actually sleeping when he got home, there was no fire, everyone was in the house by 9:30 when he got home, and it really makes me wonder, if nobody hunts rabbits on that property with a gun, what was Earl Avery really doing with a golf cart that the cadaver dogs hit on? Blaine was asked to describe his day on Tuesday, November 1st, 2005. Blaine said he woke up at approximately 6 a.m. and took the bus to school with Brendan. After school, Blaine rode the bus home and arrived at his usual time. Blaine said he did not recall going anywhere that evening, and he just participated in his usual evening activities, such as watching MTV and playing video games. Blaine said even though he could not specifically recall that evening, he believes Bobby was home that night. Sometimes, Blaine said Steve will come over to the house and talk about what they're going to do. For example, Steve will suggest that they work on a car or have a bonfire. Blaine was asked if there were any bonfires last week, and Blaine responded there was not. Blaine said he would know if there was a bonfire because he always liked to have them. Blaine was asked what materials they used to burn during the bonfires, and Blaine said sometimes they would burn tires and sometimes they would burn wood. Blaine was asked if he and Stephen ever worked on the burgundy van that was for sale. Blaine responded he had worked on this vehicle in the past. However, he had not worked on it during the week of 10/31/2005. Blaine was asked if he could recall Stephen and Chuck going to Menards on one night. Blaine said he could, however, he could not recall what night that was. The special agents advised Blaine the trip to Menards occurred on Thursday evening. At that time, Cornley stated he had been in Birmingham, Alabama, the week of 10/31/2005. Cornley originally heard from his wife that Halbach had been reported missing. On Friday night, 11/04/2005, Comley picked up Blaine at approximately 6:30 or 7 o'clock p.m. Prior to leaving the Dassey residence, Comley helped work on a dryer vent with Bobby, Brendan, Blaine, and Barb. After leaving the Dassey residence, Comley took Blaine to Green Bay to shop for computer accessories. While Comley was at the Dassey residence, Steve called Barb, and Steve told Barb they were looking for, quote, the girl. Comley and Barb discussed this phone call, and Barb advised Comley that Halbach was at the Avery property and that she had taken a picture of Barb's van. While interviewing Blaine, Comley and Blaine initially thought Blaine had called Comley on his cell phone at 4:02 on Wednesday. Comley said he was at his meeting when he received this telephone call, so he had to return the call to Blaine at approximately 8:30 or 9 o'clock that evening. As part of this phone call, Blaine advised Comley that Blaine was not going to go up north as he had previously planned, and Blaine wanted to know if Blaine and Comley were going to go to work on landscaping. Blaine was asked if these phone calls could help him remember what happened that evening, and Blaine said they could not. Blaine said he was not sure who was home on Wednesday night, and he did not think anything of significance happened. Even though Blaine could not recall anything happening, Blaine thought he probably stayed home and played video games or watched MTV, since that is what he does just about every night. Blaine was then asked if he could recall what happened on the evening of Thursday, 11/03/2005. S.A. Strauss advised Blaine that to help his recollection, that was the night that Steve and Chuck went to Menards. Blaine stated that sometime after dinner, between 6 and 7 p.m., he, Steve, and Chuck were outside. Steve and Chuck told Blaine that they were going to go to Menards to get trusses for a shed they were going to build up north. Blaine said he spoke with Chuck and Steve before they left for Menards. Chuck and Steve asked Blaine if he wanted to go. Blaine said he did not go with Chuck and Steve because he had other things to do. Blaine said they took the flatbed truck when they left. Blaine was asked if he could remember Steve and Chuck come home, and Blaine said he could not. Blaine was asked if he would be able to hear a car drive past the front of his house if that car was in drive in a normal fashion. Blaine said he did not know if he would hear this car or not. Blaine did state that if a car comes down the road, the dogs will bark. If Blaine does not know what the dogs are barking at, he will get up and check. Blaine was asked if he could recall hearing the dogs bark at anything suspicious that night, and Blaine said he does not. It was later learned that the phone call between Blaine and Comley, which was originally thought to have occurred on Wednesday night, actually occurred on Thursday night. This was determined by checking the dates of the phone call. However, the receipt of these phone calls did not help Blaine recollect anything that happened on either Wednesday or Thursday night. Blaine was asked if he recalled hearing Steve and Chuck returning the flatbed shortly after they left for Menards. Blaine said he did not. Blaine was asked if he would have heard them come back, and Blaine said he would have. Blaine was asked to describe the events of Friday, 11/04/2005. Blaine said on Friday evening, Chuck and Brendan went to the cabin in Crivets. At approximately 6:30 that evening, Comley came to Blaine's house to pick him up. While Comley was there, Comley helped with a dryer vent, as had been previously mentioned in this report. Blaine left with Comley to go to Green Bay, so he did not have any knowledge of what happened at the Avery property after he left with Comley that evening. The following day, Saturday, 11:05:04, Comley had to sing at a wedding. Before the wedding, Comley tried to take Blake home. By that time, the police had already taken control of the Avery property. Comley said that he called Barb and advised her the police had taken control of the property. Blaine advised the special agents that sometime during the week of 10/31/2005, there was a message on the dancing answering machine. Blaine said the message was from a female's voice saying she was coming out to take a picture of the van Barb was selling. Blaine said the person leaving the message left her name and who she worked for. The caller also said she would be coming to the Dassey residence at approximately 1 or 2 o'clock on Monday, 10/31/2005, to take the pictures. The caller left a callback number to reschedule if necessary. Blaine stated he thought that the message would still be on their answering machine. Blaine said he thought the ad charge was $85, and it was Barb who made the arrangements to have the photos of the car taken. Blaine said Barb had placed ads in this magazine in the past. The most recent advertised vehicle was Barb's black Lincoln. Blaine was asked if anyone else in the family used this magazine, and Blaine said they do not. Now remember, according to Blaine, the caller had said they'd be there between 1 and 2 o'clock, and that the charge was approximately $85, and his mother had been the one to schedule it. Let's take a listen to that call.
Hello, this is Teresa with Auto Trader Magazine. I'm the photographer, and I'm just giving a call to let you know that I could come out there today in the afternoon. It would probably be around 2 o'clock or even a little later. If you could please give me a call back and let me know if that'll work for you, because I don't have your address or anything, so I can't stop by without getting a call back from you. And my cell phone is 737-4731. Again, it's Teresa, 920-737-4731. Thank you.
We also know for a fact that this was a regular customer for Teresa Halbach. So why would she need the address? Blaine was asked if he had seen any media coverage of the missing woman, including her name and a picture of her car. Blaine said he had, but these photos did not help Blaine recall having seen Halbach or her vehicle before. Blaine had no additional information, and the interview was terminated at that time. During the interview, Blaine provided special agents with a diagram of the trailers, garages, and burning barrels around the Dasseys and Steve Avery houses. The diagram will be electronically attached to this report and will be forwarded to DCIR. On Monday, November 11, 2005, at approximately 2:15 p.m., S.A. Strauss and S.A. Wilson went back to re-interview Blaine to verify the activities of Wednesday, 11/02/2005, and Thursday, 11/03/2005. Blaine said that one day last week of 10/31/05, Blaine was supposed to have a girl over to his house for a bonfire. The girl was identified as Adrienne Owens, a sophomore at Mishcot High School. Blaine said this bonfire never took place, as Owens later said she did not want to come out for the bonfire. According to Blaine, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Blaine did not leave his residence. Blaine said he did not go anywhere. He did not see anyone, and he could not recall Steve or Chuck coming over to his house. Blaine said he is sure that Chuck and Steve went to Menard's on Friday night instead of Thursday night. Blaine said he can recall going to his garage with Bobby looking for duct tape or tie-downs for the dryer vent. While out there, Blaine saw Chuck in his flatbed smoking a cigarette and Steve run into the house as if to get something. Blaine estimated Steve was in the house for approximately 3 to 5 minutes. Blaine said he did not talk to Chuck or Steve at that time. Blaine saw Steve come out of the house, get into the passenger seat of the flatbed, and they left that area. The special agents asked Blaine why he previously stated that before Chuck and Steve went to Menard's, they asked Blaine if he wanted to go along. However, Blaine had to decline because he had something else to do. Blaine said this was an error because he was confusing it with a separate incident he had with Chuck and Steve. Blaine had no additional information, and this contact concluded at approximately 2:45 p.m. Now let's review. Blaine's testimony takes away Bobby, the star witness's entire storyline, because Bobby was sleeping, according to Blaine, when Blaine got there. Number 2, it also gives Brendan an alibi up until 5:30 that day, and then again from 9:30 on. Why didn't Blaine see Teresa Halbach? Why didn't Blaine see the RAV4 sitting there? It takes away the idea that there is any hunting on the Avery salvage yard for rabbits, because Blaine says they use cages, that the Menards trip took place on Friday night before they went to Cribbets. And let's not forget that the caller on the answering machine, allegedly Teresa Halbach, Blaine stated that the caller stated she would be there between 1 and 2, but yet the answering machine recorded the caller stating they'd be there by 2 or sometime later. How would Blaine know that it was an $85 charge? Where did he get that information from? The call never defines any amount of money. Actually, $85 would have been the appropriate price for a hustle shot, unless it was 2 vehicles, the van and the end loader, the one that the brothers were supposedly selling. The reason Stephen phoned Teresa Halbach after 4 o'clock, because remember, Stephen told even the news right away on the 4th of November. The reason he had called Teresa Halbach after 4 was he had forgot to tell her to go down to the quarry and photograph the end loader. Let's also not forget that Blaine knows how many burn barrels is in his family, which is 4, as well as that means Stephen had 1. So there should have only been 5 burn barrels complete in the entire collection of evidence of burn barrels, not 6 and not more. It makes me wonder if the defense had actually used Blaine's testimony properly. Would we even be sitting here right now? A special thank you to each one of you for always showing your support for Stephen and Brendan and my channel. So you guys, our family is up to almost 5,000 as I record this. We're 11 people away. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys for everything you do for Stephen and Brendan and the missing kids out there. I love ya to the moon and back. Take care now.